Hey, my name is Cheyenne. This is my channel. If you like what you see today, please subscribe down below so that you can see more of the videos that I post. I am not certified to give any kind of medical advice or, anything medically. So please don't use this as a massive, resource. I'm giving my reviews of what I do and what works for me. It may not work for you, and there's plenty of other places to look. I know Kelly Mom is one of the best resources for pretty much anything. I get a lot of my information from there. This is just a video on breastfeeding basics, very, very basic. Because breastfeeding is not easy. I know with my son, we breastfed for 6 weeks, almost 3 months, and I gave up because I could not do pumping every 3 hours or every 4 hours, whatever we were doing at the time, and then my supply took a drop, and it just wasn't easy. With this baby, it's totally different. I have had a lot, I guess, because everything that I learned from my first, it's been a lot easier, and I know kind of what to do now and where to look for resources, so that's what I'm gonna dive into, and here we go. The first thing that I want to say, and I want to really push this, is you don't have to breastfeed. It is not mandatory. It is not something that you have to do. It's something you want to do, and it's not easy. Like I said, it's really hard. I mean, you're up every 2 to 3 hours feeding the baby. I know at one point we were feeding and pumping every 2 hours, and I'm in nursing school. Like, it's not easy. I had her on Friday, and I went back to school on Monday. And so my postpartum hormones were like all out of whack. And my boobs were so engorged because when your milk does finally come in, I know with my son it took 3 or 4 days. With Reagan, it was like almost immediate. It was within 2 days. And they get huge, they're rock hard, like you want to take a few pictures so you can remember because they're going to go back to normal. But then trying to learn how to regulate my supply while I'm in school, so I couldn't nurse her all of the time. It was really hard, but eventually you learn, what works for you and what doesn't. I know I used a hand pump when I was at home because it was a lot easier for me. And then at school, I would use my LVs, which are like amazing. And I'll leave product reviews for breast pumps in a different video because it would just take too much time. So with that, I was able to pump at school, and I pumped about every 2 hours because that's how often she ate. But we're almost 3 months in, and we're going pretty strong. I will say the hardest part is latching. You're a new mom, and the first thing they do is lay that baby on your chest, and you love every second of it. But you have no idea what you're doing. All those hormones just left your body, and they're learning to regulate again because they were working for 2 people. Now they're only working for 1. So, it's a lot of emotions, and you can't get baby to latch, and you can't figure out why, and you feel so bad because you can't figure it out, and then the nurse just comes in and pop right on your boob. Like, it is not as easy as the nurses make it. You have to work at it. You have to figure it out. The best way to get a good latch, let me see, there's that baby doll, just a second. Baby doll. The baby doll. Hi, baby. You want their mouth to be like a Pac-Man. And you want it to be at a pretty good angle so that when your boob boob and nipple, they latch right on. And you're going to point. So baby doll, here's my nipple. Baby doll, her nose is going to point towards the center of my chest. Her mouth is going to be that Pac-Man and latches right on. There's a bunch of different holds. The easiest hold for me to start was the football hold, which is like a little football. You tuck them in and they're safe right there, and you just latch like that. I know now that she's bigger, it's a lot easier to just do like the cross cradle hold and hold her like this, little baby, and latch on. Of course, my baby's a little bigger, so we sit up and feed like that. But there's a lot of different options. Like I said, Kelly Mom is a really great resource. Also, the Badass Breastfeeder. She is amazing. I love their podcast. You can sit and listen on the drive home, on the drive to work, or if you're, just sitting at home doing laundry, you can listen to it then. And they are a really great resource as well, not just for breastfeeding, but for empowerment, because it does take a village to raise a baby. It takes a village to be able to breastfeed. You have to have that support, because without it, you're going to feel alone. You're going to feel like you can't do it, and you can't. Also, something that's super important, stay hydrated. I cannot tell you enough, because when baby latches, the first thing you're going to want is a drink of water. I know I do. So stay super hydrated. This is my water jug that I keep on me when I'm at home. And then I have a bigger one. It's, I think, 64 ounce. It was $14.99 at Walmart. It was cheap. And I carry that with me when I'm at school, when I'm at clinicals, anytime pretty much I'm out of the house. That is my jug, because I don't have to refill it a whole lot. You only refill it about once, maybe a day. And then, when you got home, you've got this little bitty bottle. But again, that's what works for me. You may prefer drinking out of a bottle, like bottled water. I just drink tap water. And then breastfeeding is not the time to go on a diet. Postpartum, definitely not the time to go on a diet. I would give yourself at least 3 months to start thinking about a diet, because you have to have those calories. It takes, I think I saw at least 1,500 to 1,800 calories to breastfeed. I know every time you feed, you burn anywhere from 200 to 500 calories. That's a lot of calories to burn in a day. So you definitely need to keep your calorie count up. And, after those 3 months, if you feel like it, you can definitely go back to dieting, exercising. I know I personally gave myself at least 12 weeks just for my supply to regulate and kind of figure out what it's going to look like for the next, hopefully a year, maybe 2. We'll see. But just give yourself that time to heal and rest. You made this baby. It took 9 months to make this baby, and it's not going to go back overnight. It's not even going to go back in 3 months. You need to give yourself time to relax. I know Diane and Abby on the Badass Breastfeeder, they said that when their babies were born, they just sat on the couch and didn't move, which would be ideal. But I'm really busy. We stay busy all the time. So it's not like I can just sit down and feed. I remember the first month and a half till she's probably 13 pounds now. So I can't exactly pick her up and carry her and nurse her. But when she was littler, I would carry her around and nurse her. I would cook dinner and nurse. And she was 7-8 pounds. I could do that. But anything over 10, it got a little difficult, because she was a chunky monkey. But just take it slow, please. Don't rush yourself. It's not worth it. And if you have trouble with your breastfeeding journey, you can always reach out to a lactation consultant. I know that they can help you a little more one-on-one. I would look for someone IBCLC certified, which is the International Board of Lactation Consultants. They actually certify. They have to spend so many hours learning and so many hours in a clinical setting to actually be able to become a lactation consultant. So it's not just something that they took one course on, or it's something that they learn overnight. It's not. It takes at least, I think, a year to do it. Some people can do it in less, but definitely worth reaching out to. And you can actually have them bill your insurance so that you don't have to pay as much out of pocket. It'll still be some out of pocket, depending on your insurance, of course. But that's definitely worth looking into if you're having issues. And you can always look to see whether they're better with breast pumps or nursing, because I know some moms want to use a breast pump, and that's totally okay. You're still breastfeeding. Don't let anybody tell you that you are not because you're using a breast pump. Oh my gosh, baby's still getting breast milk. It's not a bad thing. Some people do it because personal preference. Some people do it because they have issues with touch, because you will become touched out at some point, and it's totally a thing. Baby nurses constantly. There's comfort nursing where all they want to do is nurse. They won't take a pacifier. They just want you, which my little girl loves to do. And it makes it really hard for me because I don't like to be touched anymore. And that's one of those touched out kind of things, because you're constantly in contact with someone else. It's not you. It's not your spouse. It's not, somebody. This person is relying on life from you, and so you kind of have to, but you don't want to, and it's hard. But touched out is a normal thing. It happens. Don't let it get you frustrated. Just see if maybe they'll take a binky and lay down, or see if dad can hold for a little while, or anyone else in the family that's in the house that can hold. See if maybe they can hold for a little bit, and just go out for a walk. Take a bath, something relaxing, something that you like to do. Even if it's only 10, 20 minutes, that's a little bit of time to yourself so that you're not constantly touching someone. Just lets you reset, because you do need time to reset your mind and just kind of chill. You're mom now. I mean, that's a big deal. But you're not just a mom. You're also a person, and you need to kind of think of yourself too. Just to reset. It'll make life a little easier. Another thing, totally forgot. Postpartum period. Normal. It's going to return. I mean, you can't not have a period forever, as much as I would love it. Most breastfeeding moms, if they're nursing 100%, they don't have a postpartum period. With that being said, it's not always 100%. I mean, some things happen. But I'm on the shot, and I'm breastfeeding. I got my period 6 weeks postpartum. I have had 2, maybe 3 periods postpartum. But every time, my supply just kind of dips a little bit. Usually I get about 8 ounces, but I'm an overachiever here. I mean, I wanted to get more so that I could donate. And I kind of dropped down to about 4 ounces total, every time I pump, which is, it's enough to feed her, but it's not, it's not what I want. And I have to remember that that's okay. It is okay. She's still getting enough to feed her. She's still getting milk. It's not like she's not. What I try and do is build a little bit of an oversupply so that when my supply does go down for my periods, and it's usually only a couple of days because that's how long they last, then I've got enough to feed her for a while. And if you do want an oversupply, I highly suggest buying a freezer just for milk, because currently, don't be in my situation, we have 2 freezers. One's not a big one, but one's really big, and they're both full between the meat and the veggies and breast milk. I have probably close to 800 ounces of breast milk in the freezer downstairs. So be sure to buy one. You can check Swap Shop. I know we bought ours from a friend. They had posted it on Swap Shop, so we thought, well, we'll go get it, and it works great. So always, you know, check to make sure it works before you get home, but that's an option. So, okay, well, I think that I'm done for today, and hopefully tomorrow I'll have up a video of what I like to use while I'm breastfeeding, and then also about breast pumps, because there's a bunch of different pumps, a bunch of different options, and everything is totally different for everyone. But I do want to kind of get like what you need to start with when breastfeeding. So hopefully that'll go up tomorrow. If not, it may be the next day. But again, if you subscribe down below, then you can see when I post videos again. Thanks!